Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in to Young Money Investments. In today's video, we are going to be talking with none other than Brad Smith. We're going to be talking to him. He is the founder of the YouTube channel Own the Chaos. If you are into penny stocks, please check out that channel. This is no paid plug or anything like that. But I want to talk to him. We're going to talk about some penny stocks today. He is also the co-founder of We Trade HQ. It is a free online trading community. I'd love for him to kind of fill you in on that because he is the know-it-all when it comes to that. But Brad, I want to just kind of pick your brain. Like I said, this is kind of a fun opportunity. We've never done really a live Q&A on my channel. And so for the viewers and everything out there, I want to kind of ask you some questions, let everyone that's also, viewers on your channel get to know you a little bit better, and just kind of roll from there. So do you want to introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me on. This is the first time that I've actually ever been on somebody else's YouTube channel. I've always had plenty of guests on mine, but never actually returned to anybody else's. So thank you for that, and congrats for being the first person to ever have
for sure
on a YouTube channel other than my own. So thanks so much for that. So anybody who's out there looking or watching this video, thanks for the view for Young Money Investments and showing further support as well. And yes, so I basically cut my teeth trading over-the-counter penny stocks, to be more specific. And really, lots of people when they first start trading, they dabble in penny stocks. That's kind of like their entry point, right? That's the gateway drug to the rest of the stock market most of the time. But for me, I never left. I caught the bug and stayed addicted ever since. And in my trading career, and really just, one of my dreams was also to just become an entrepreneur and run a business and run a successful business. And just kind of, when I was trading, I was in a lot of these communities. And first of all, they're really cutthroat, most of them. Most people are not very kind to you. And so what I wanted to do, my vision was to basically be able to create a community that's not just focused on penny stocks. I understood and I saw that there's opportunities where people could learn and grow, celebrate each other's success, and no matter what area of the market they were trading in. And so that is actually how, one of the reasons why I met Cameron. I brought him on to my YouTube channel, and I can't believe it's been almost a year ago already. I had a segment called Millionaire Mondays, and Cameron was one of my first folks on there. Flopped big time, but Cameron was still there nonetheless, and I created a friendship from it. So I can't complain too much. But yeah, We Trade HQ. It's just we wanted to make it as free as possible. Obviously, we have paid mentorships and stuff like that for people to maybe step up their game if they're just not getting it. But we also wanted to make them affordable and provide so much value that they felt like they were really getting something out of it. And I would say, hand over fist, it pays for itself no matter what service you choose to go with. You could go with Cameron's if you wanted to, or any of the other mentors that we have. It's just a really good community to be a part of. We've exploded in 2019, and I just can't wait to see how the rest of the year plays out.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think kind of rewinding it back to, going into penny stocks and everything, you're saying that's sometimes the entry drug into day trading or just the stock market in general because of the cheap cost per share for a lot of folks. What got you into that? How have you found, I guess, your success in that? How do you pick those stocks? Because even for myself, obviously, I got started kind of in the opposite direction. We both kind of have merged, as in time, in terms of I do short a lot more, penny stock, so to speak. But I got started obviously long-term investing, looking for, mega cap or large cap stocks, long-term investing. If you are a new trader and you're wanting to get into the penny stock market, how do you find some of these companies? What are new traders looking for? I'm sure that's probably one of the biggest questions you get is, how do I start? Where do I go?
Yeah, it's a great question. So let me backtrack. I'll answer the first part of that, which was, how did I get my start?
Yeah.
And for me, I had a mentor that I knew I had been trading. He was a professional trader in penny stocks and in the OTC where I'm at right now. And it was something where I just known him my whole life. He'd known me since I was a little kid. And it was just like, yeah, okay, he trades penny stocks, whatever. And I just kind of like went on with my life. It was just, that was his occupation, and good for him, and didn't really read much into it until I, bounced around from job to job to job. I worked on cars for a while. I've been in just about every industry that you can imagine.
You're a jack of all trades now.
What's that?
You're a jack of all trades now.
I am, really, to be honest with you. If you're in blue collar, I can relate to you. If you're in white collar, I can relate to you. And looking back, I can really kind of see that I was just meant to be an entrepreneur, because I was never happy really being in the jobs that I was in. And I would say that the industry that I most loved working in was working on cars, but even then, I always thought about having my own shop or having my own garage. I always had that entrepreneurial mind, and I never really fully saw that until I went to college. I went back to college, I should say. I was in school right out of high school, and then did all kinds of stuff. Then started back into college in my late to mid 20s, and really got introduced to different areas of industry. So while there's obviously good things about going back to school and getting higher education, I love your previous video on that, whether or not you should go through with college. For me, the value that it provided was just opportunities in other areas, and really kind of get you to identify what it is that you were meant to do. Mm-hmm. And I went to school for business, and that's kind of where it kind of clicked for me about getting into the stock market and investing and stuff like that. So I had tons of financial and accounting classes, and that's kind of really where things started to spark and ignite. And I actually got with my mentor on a couple of stuff when I was trying to learn how to do certain projects for stock market stuff and economics. He actually has 2 bachelor's degrees from Maryland, so he was able to help me with some of that stuff. And I was like, maybe I should start trading with you and just kind of see where it goes. And he said, yeah, sure. I had no problem doing that. And that's kind of like how the ball got rolling, really. And I never really looked back. I started trading. I actually got a job at a financial firm because I was so passionate about the stock market and how everything worked with, just economics, and how affected the stock market can be based off of whatever emotion the rest of the country is riding on. And so that stuff just fascinated me. And so that's kind of like really how I got my start, and what really interested me in the stock market. And so transitioning into how I find all of this stuff and how I was able to find success, I was able to learn just kind of like his best practices, and really, minimizing risk, and, using the type of tools and resources that are provided for you. And for me, I use scanners very heavily. So I'm looking for unusual volume, trying to find out why these stocks might have unusual volume. Maybe there's specific catalysts that not a lot of people have seen yet, or maybe there's something coming up. Lots of times I will trade into events. And what I mean by that is, let's just say there's and I use this example a lot now, because it was just top of mind, and it's kind of a recent event. But there was a ticker. It's called BCCI, Barista Coffee, and they basically have like a CBD type coffee, and that doesn't really matter. What the point is that they had an event at the Super Bowl. They were, they had this event where they were going to be doing some marketing and advertisements for the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Okay. Well, people started buying the heck out of that a week leading into the Super Bowl, and so you buy into that event, and so buying into the event and then selling after the event is kind of really one of the characteristics of how penny stocks work. Mm-hmm. People bought into that, and then they sold after, because it's like, well, what's after that? Where's the value after the Super Bowl? And so that's kind of and lo and behold, BCCI did that. It ran all the way up to the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Sunday, it was at its peak. Super Bowl Monday, it dropped about 50%, and that's the reality of penny stocks, is the volatility that it brings. It can be awesome ride up, but if you're not careful and you don't know what you're doing, it can be a terrible ride down.
No, and that makes a lot of sense. I think it's one of those things, and what I find really cool about We Trade HQ and your YouTube channel is, I think there's a lot of things that go into it. I think with other styles of trading, long-term investing, it's not so much off the charts. People they're not fundamental traders. They're more like, or I guess they're not technical traders, they are fundamental traders. Right. If you're shorting a stock, most of the time it has nothing to do with the news. At least for me, I'm mostly going off of RSI, off of the fact that it's at these peaks, there's these massive spikes, and then shorting it on the downside. Your style of trading kind of goes into both factors. You need to know the news with the charts, which I find kind of interesting.
That's absolutely correct. So we can edit that out. So that's absolutely correct. So when I look at a stock that I see value in, first of all, I'm going to look at the chart. Obviously, the chart is an essential part of any type of trading. I don't care what you're doing. So, but the way that I use the chart is probably going to be a lot different than the way that you're using the chart, whether somebody's trading Forex and using a chart. Yeah. And so when I'm looking at it, I'm looking to see if it's been severely front-loaded, or maybe there's a bunch of loading going on before this catalyst goes on, which means that if that happens, then that's characteristic of what a pump and dump is. And so pump and dumps, we see them all the time, but that's kind of how one of the deciding factors to try to figure out if this could potentially be one, because you got a lot of people buying up at the beginning of this. You see the volume going up, and maybe the stock isn't moving all that much, but that means it could be potentially being loaded up, so that when that event does happen and it goes crazy, a lot of people will get stuck buying at the top of that thing. Well, everybody that bought in the bottom that preloaded that thing is just going to be selling on top of you. So there's very important characteristics to try to identify whether or not a pump and dump is happening, and looking at the chart and trying to identify that is ever important. Yeah. On the other side of that, from a fundamental standpoint, you're looking at things like share structure. Are they converting shares and diluting very heavily, because that plays a factor as well? What's the health of the company? Are they even turning a profit? What's the value there? And so there's lots of things that go into trading these OTC or even just like penny stock type stocks, because sometimes you can look at a chart, you can do everything looks good from a chart perspective. Maybe it's showing a very solid support, whatever. There's a nice pattern going on, but then a catalyst comes and it ruins all of your technical analysis. Yeah. So that is why it's important when you're trading penny stocks that you take everything into account and not just a chart. I see a lot of people that could trade big board stocks and they don't even care what stock it is. They just see a pattern and they trade it. Yeah. Down here, it's a little bit different.
Okay. Very interesting. And I was going to say, I think what's cool with you is, obviously, a mentorship is great. It's a great way, obviously, to get a little bit more help. Obviously, it's a great way to get more one-on-one interactions and everything with you. But obviously, I love that your YouTube channel, you go live daily. Is that, you do your market, remind me what it's called. It's Midday Market Recap. Is that right?
Yeah, the Midday Market Recap. So I go live right around lunchtime from Monday through Friday. And then I also have a Sunday, a Stock Watch Sunday segment where I go live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Just kind of give everybody an overview of what I might be watching that week, what could potentially be moving going into Monday. But the whole purpose of the Midday Market Recap is just to kind of go over what we saw value in at the beginning of the market. So my mentorship, when I go live with people, and my exclusive mentorship is from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time, basically kind of covering what could be potentially moving before the market opens and how we're going to react after it opens. Cool. And a lot of people see value in that because, it doesn't only just help them understand what to buy, but also what to stay away from. There's plenty of things that they could just buy into and get burned. Lots of times we don't make one single move at the open. We just kind of watch and see what develops. Because sometimes there could be an extreme gap up and it comes right back down and then you get screwed because there's a gap fill or whatever. Yeah. And so people see value not only in what are potential runners and what can make you money, but also avoiding some of those things that could just lose you money. I think it's just important to learn both sides of that. So go live with folks in the morning from 9 to 10, and then I cover on my Midday Market Recap what it was that we looked at, saw value in. Maybe we made a trade, maybe we didn't, and just kind of like give people an opportunity to just kind of see how the OTC reacts. When you're seeing things move thousands of percent, it really blows your mind. But if you don't know what you're doing, that 1,000% runner that you buy in the top at, could really hurt you, because in 10 minutes it could be right back where it started. Yeah.
No, and I think those are all super good points to obviously make with it. I think as a new trader, obviously and even experienced traders, right? It's you need to put in the work, you need to put in the time. And what I think is great is if you are looking to get into penny stocks because you have a small account, that you're working with. The good thing is sometimes the best trade you can make is not making a trade at all. It's learning the fundamentals, learning the process, learning the steps before you jump into it. And I like that you're putting out so much free content out there that can help a lot of those beginners.
Yeah, absolutely. And really that's what WeTradeHQ is all about. Look, WeTradeHQ as the community and the platform at WeTradeHQ.com provides you with all kinds of tools to set you up for the best kind of success. And ultimately, if you take advantage of the free stuff and it allows you to be successful, fine, great, but there's that extra part of it where, maybe you're just not understanding it. Maybe you just feel like you need that extra hand, that helping hand. And so that's what we're here for. And a lot of people are like, well, if you're so good at trading stocks or whatever, then why are you charging, to help people out? And so
I hear that all the time. So why don't you lay it straight for everybody?
Yeah. So here's the thing. If I give you something for free, what's the value of that product or item? It's zero.
Yeah.
And there's that mental, how do I want to put this? There's that perception, right? That if you put a dollar sign on something, it adds value to it, and you're going to take care of it more. Mm-hmm. So like if somebody gives me something for free, let's just say it's just a shirt. Somebody gives me a T-shirt for free. Yeah. I might not take care of that as much as if I went out and bought something.
Yeah.
A shirt. So for me, in this example, if you are paying for my services to help you out, that tells me that you're committed to learning. That tells me that you want to be here and you want to learn and you want to make a difference in your life, so that I'm more willing to dedicate my time to you because I know that you're here to learn. I know that you want to. And really, we're not we charge $49 a month. So if you can't make that money up in trading in 1 month after going through our program, then maybe trading is not for you. And I tell people that all the time. It's like, this isn't for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give you a shot. I'm willing to let you know how I find success. If you can't find success in doing it, then maybe it's just not for you, or maybe penny stocks aren't for you, and maybe there's another avenue, and that's the beauty of WeTradeHQ is that maybe penny stocks aren't for you. Maybe Cameron style of trading is what's for you, because you take a little bit more of a conservative approach, and so maybe that conservative approach is just what's going to be what works for you. And so that's kind of why I feel charging for a service makes sense. And we're not price gouging or anything like that. You see a lot of these other gurus out there that are charging 4 or 5 figures for their services, and all we're asking for is $49, just so that we know that you're for real and really wanting to learn how to trade in the stock market.
No, and I absolutely agree with you. I always go, how much did you pay for tuition for your last semester of college? And it's like, were they not price gouging you on that? And again, it also goes down to the fact, yes, if you can't make that back, that's what I tell all, everyone that has enrolled in Young Money Investments University is if you can't make that money back, then there's a problem, there's a disconnect. Like we need to get something switched in your mind or in your trading habits so that this is worthwhile to you. Or don't pay for the service, because the service should be a very quick and easy in 1 or 2 trades in that first month. Yep. Pay for that service. And so I absolutely agree with you on that. A couple other go ahead.
I just want to interject real quick too. So just to kind of give you an example of like what I'm talking about too, is like as far as adding value. You see a lot of these corporations now, and that corporation that I left to do this for was a very good company. I loved the company that I worked for. The community was great, but they offered we had a gym there, but they charged us money to go to the gym. They reimbursed us at the end of the month. Okay. They charged us money, or at the end of the year, they reimbursed us for whatever we paid for the gym. But they did that because they knew that money coming out of our pockets creates like a psychological, I don't know what the word is for it, but it creates something in your brain that says, okay, I'm paying for this, so I'm going to take care of it. So like if they were giving that gym membership away for free, people would take advantage of things. Maybe they'd steal some towels, or maybe they just want to take care of the equipment as well.
Yeah.
So like it's just that psychological, thing that causes you to say, okay, I see value in this because I'm paying for it. And so that's really what's behind that, that what do you want to call it? The I just lost my train of thought. It's just what behind why we charge things for our services. That's all.
No, I 100% agree with you. Kind of moving on to one of the other topics I wanted to kind of go over with you as well. What are some cool things that some of the viewers or subscribers that both you and I have, what can they look forward to in We Trade HQ in the coming, months, quarter? What are some things that you have planned for rollout on that? I know we didn't talk about it pre-recording this, but that's kind of something I think that is really exciting, at least for me, being a mentor on there. What are some things that some of the users can be excited for?
Yeah, great question. So we've already started to revamp some of the mentorship experiences. Mm-hmm. So We Trade HQ is a very young company. We're not even a year old yet. We went live with our platform at WeTradeHQ.com in June. Very end of June is when we went live with it. And so there's speed bumps just like starting any business along the way. And so part of that was just making sure people actually understood what we were. One of the biggest challenges of We Trade HQ when it first started was that people would visit the site and not know what it is or not know what direction to go into. And so we've been working very hard over the last several months of just trying to be able to provide direction so people actually know where to go and what we're all about. Yeah. Our goal is to be able to have people visit We Trade HQ and never have traded a day in their life and know exactly where to go to get help, to use those tools and resources to learn better. And part of that right now is just bolstering that mentorship part of it. And so the mentorship experiences that you get within that part of the platform is being revamped, and we've already seen really good feedback on that. So super excited with that. The other thing is that, as you know, we have the We Trade Live. So if you are interested in learning from somebody else that's not part of We Trade HQ, we actually have a feature on the platform that allows you to watch anybody who's trading live on YouTube, Twitch, any of the major streaming services, and that's for free as well. It's a free service, so your favorite trader might be trading live on YouTube or Twitch. You can go watch it right on the We Trade HQ platform, and then let's just say they're talking about a specific ticker. All you gotta do is search it up on We Trade HQ. Ticker pops up with a nice trading view chart for you to do technical analysis right along with the person that you're watching streaming, and you can chat with your friends as well throughout the Discord platform. It's awesome. So the next thing that we're coming out with, we're going to revamp and bolster the trade importing feature that we have, which is also free for you to use. So we have the We Trade Tracker. We Trade Tracker allows you to enter and import your trades that you make. That helps you become a better trader. And how it does that is that you import your trades and it spits out a powerful series of metrics that basically tells you how long you've been holding on to winning trades, how long you've been holding on to losing trades, what was your percentages like. And really a lot of people so far from just like our beta version have seen a lot of value in that. And so we really kind of want to focus on the We Trade Tracker and make that a better platform and a better tool for people to really kind of hone in their trading skills.
Yeah, and I love the fact that it's all, a good portion of that is all free, and I think it's refreshing for a lot of folks, and I think that those tools not only hold you more accountable to yourself, but they make you a better trader, whether you're starting out at day one or whether you've done this for years and years. And I think the We Trade Tracker's helped me as well. So I'm super excited for all those new things to come. I'm trying to think of anything else. Was there anything else that we necessarily were planning on talking about here? I'm just glad to have you on here and get to talk with you a little bit more.
No, I'm excited. This is kind of the first time that I've done this as well. It's like, I don't know, it's one of those weird things where it's just uncharted territory, and I wasn't quite sure how I was going to handle it, but hopefully that I came across pretty well. I think sometimes I kind of talk to myself in the circles, but practice makes perfect, right? So this is the first one, hopefully the first one of many. I think I just wanted to kind of reiterate that, no matter what you're trading in the market, whether it's, Forex, what Cameron does with his stuff, especially when he does like shorting and just trading big board stocks, long-term investments, options, no matter what it is that you're trading in the market, We Trade HQ should be the place for you. And it really is just a great community. 4,000 members around the globe, and we're growing so fast. I really just can't wait to see what we look like by the end of 2019. guarantee.
No, and I absolutely agree. I think one point that I'd love to make with it is there's a big value sometimes in being in a closer knit, smaller community. There are other something solutions out there, different companies, we won't name names, that are very big. You know, they have six figures. There are 100,000 plus members in those communities. And sometimes those message boards get very convoluted. They get very muddied up because there are so many traders. You don't know whether this is an advanced trader making a stock recommendation or if this is a newbie that's just like, oh, I see value in it. I love that in our community it's a lot smaller. You develop relationships with other people and you can find other friends. It really is a community, not just like, I'll probably never talk to this person ever again or maybe see another, conversation.
Yeah, it really is like a family atmosphere, but I don't want to get away from, look, our goal is to get bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
But in getting bigger, we know that scaling out is also a challenge, right? So it brings in challenges of feeling like you're lost in such a large community. But what we've done is, again, brought those mentors in and really kind of like, I don't want to say segregates, but it really,
individualizes, I would say.
Yeah, it creates these groups that people just feel more comfortable in. So like you have a group within a group.
Yeah.
But the great thing is that it doesn't feel divided or separated. Everybody kind of like is willing to help each other out. And like I said, it's a really good family-like atmosphere. And that's something that we always strive to make sure that we hammer home, that we don't deviate from no matter how big we get.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think, I think one more point I was thinking of from earlier our conversation is like, the cool thing about getting to watch your videos and everything, I think for a lot of folks is maybe you don't necessarily, need the advice, but trades are always nice to go into hearing all sides of the opinion, right? Whether it's against your decision or the trade that you're going into, or whether it's in agreement with the trade that you're taking. I love to hear other people's opinion because even if it is opposite of mine, I like to know, hey, this is potentially what other, if I'm shorting, what other buyers are thinking, why they're moving the price action up or vice versa.
Perspective is everything, and the amount of angles that you can get, the more you can get, the better off you are.
And that's what the community is all about, I think. And wrapping this up, I just want to get one more thing from you. And my big thing was, if you could give one piece of advice, and there's a million, right, that you could always give to a new trader. So I'm simplifying it, almost overly simplifying it. But what's one piece of advice you would give someone that is getting started? Maybe in OTCs or just in the stock market in general, what would be your big piece of advice?
So protect your capital. So the money that you start out with trading, no matter what area in the market you're trading, that's your hard-earned dollars that you worked, your normal day job for, that maybe you saved up for months or weeks or maybe even years to start trading with. And so people seem to kind of disregard that, and before they know it, they lost all of that money. So manage your risk and have a plan and protect that capital that you start off with at all costs. And because that's going to be the key to everything. Making sure that you have money to trade with is really what, how you start and really kind of find success. So just manage that risk and protect that capital at all costs. And I think that's really the first key step in becoming a successful trader. Yeah,
I love that. I'd second all that, everything that you said. So, well, thank you so much, Brad. I appreciate you being here on the channel. First time having you on a channel like you were saying. And if anyone wants to tune in to Own the Chaos, that is the YouTube channel. WeTradeHQ.com is the website that you can go on there. It's free to join as a member. I obviously have, I don't want to call it pushed it, but talked about that as well in some of my other videos. And it's just a great place. So Brad, thanks again for being on the channel, I guess. And I'm sure we'll have you on here again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Cameron.
Of course. See you later.